What's going on, guys? So today on the evaluation table, we have the B&W Tow and Stow, specifically the 3-inch version with the 3-inch shank and all 3 balls. So you have the 1 7/8 inch ball, the 2 5/16, and the 2-inch ball. And the claim to fame of the Tow and Stow is the fact that you can remove these pins, you can flip this around, and you can stow it so it makes for a much lower profile hitch coming off the back of your vehicle, and you're much less likely to bang your leg up against it if you are walking behind your vehicle. I can truly appreciate that, but I can even appreciate the fact that when you have the ball out in its deployed position, it only sticks off the back of the truck about 8.5 inches. So it is significantly lower profile off the back of your vehicle than a lot of products on the market. Certainly lower profile than Gen Y, certainly lower than Bulletproof as well. Not quite as low profile compared to WaySafe, but it still tucks pretty close to the vehicle, which I really like. That said, let's evaluate this thing. Let's talk about some of the things I've had to do and some of the improvements that I think B&W could integrate into the next generation of Tow and Stow. Hang tight, I'll be right back. Okay, so first and foremost, you can get this in either a 2 or 3 ball configuration, so you don't have to get it in the 3 ball configuration if you don't need the super tiny 1 7/8 inch ball. 2 and 2 5/16 are typically going to be the size most people use, unless you just have a super small trailer. If I could do it over again, I probably would just get the 2 ball system and not the 3 ball. Now, things I love about this are all the things I just talked about. How low profile it is, the fact you can stow it out of the way, it's super robust, it has a 21,000 pound maximum tow rating with a 2,100 pound maximum tongue weight rating on this 3-inch version. Unfortunately, though, unless you have a Ford Super Duty with a 3-inch receiver, you're not going to be getting that type of capacity. I think 18,000 or 18,500 is the maximum you're going to be able to get with the standard 2.5-inch shank that your Ram or General Motors vehicles will have, because they don't offer a 3-inch receiver on those trucks from the factory. Now, that said, that is typically going to be more than enough for most people, until you realize that brands like WaySafe, Bulletproof, and Gen Y go from 25,000 pounds all the way up to 36,000 pounds worth of towing capacity, and I think B&W should definitely play in that area as well. Whether or not it's part of a Tow and Stow lineup, but if they can simply increase the ability for the Tow and Stow to meet those numbers and do it in a very safe and certified way, then I would love to see a B&W hit those numbers. It's certainly robust enough from a steel perspective, but there are some areas where I could see some improvements. For instance, the shank on most Tow and Stow products, it's going to be a 1/4-inch thick sidewall on the shank. I think they could probably go to like a 3/8 inch thick material, or even a solid shank in some cases, like they have on the product designed to go in the back of a GMC with the multi-pro tailgate with a 2-inch receiver, where they use a solid shank there because it's needed, because there's no way for them to gusset that specific area that's going inside of the drop. So that said, I could definitely see a heavier duty version of this hitch, even though I don't think it's 100% needed. However, I do believe that there's nothing wrong with going to a slightly thicker material for the shank. I don't think it needs to be solid, but 3/8 inch thick steel here would definitely be a welcome upgrade, especially if it can increase the maximum towing capacity of the Tow and Stow to 25,000 to 30,000 pounds. Because again, B&W doesn't play in that area, and it would be nice if they did. The other thing that I think would be a great improvement would be some type of a locking pin system that comes with it. These are infinite rule pins that I put on here because either a pin fell out because the clip came off and the pin just worked its way out, or somebody tried to steal the hitch. But I came out to the truck one time a long time ago, the pins were gone, and I don't know what happened. Either they came out on their own or somebody thought they could steal the hitch head. I don't know, but the pins were gone, and I'm like, I'm not going to go through that again. So I put the best pins I could on here that lock, which are the infinite rule pins, and I haven't dealt with that issue again. The second one is the fact that It would be nice if you could pull both pins out at the same time. I love how WaySafe does it with theirs, where it's a lock, you pull it out, and it's one key that pulls out both pins at the same time so you can raise or lower the hitch head assembly. And it would be cool if the folks at B&W had an option like that as well. Perhaps an option where it's a handle that's linked to the pins, it goes through, and it has a large hole for a lock to go through to prevent the pins from coming out. That would be really cool, and it would be a welcomed addition or upgrade to a B&W product. On top of that, there's not really a heck of a lot that I can say negative about this product. Like I said, I love how close to the truck it sits. I love the fact that you have all 3 ball options if you want it, or you can go to 2. I love the fact that this chrome or polished finish to the ball assembly is super robust, and it holds up really, really well over time. That's one thing I really love about this product over a lot of the competing products, is that you can have this in the back of your vehicle and it will look new for a long time as long as you keep it clean. My main quirks with this product are all really related to the fact that they do not have a heavier duty version of it, that they could go with a thicker material here, that they could go with a easier way to handle your pins by pulling them out, putting them back in with one movement instead of having 3 pins to possibly move or rotate. The reason why I say this is because if you look at competing products that have 2 balls on them, you really only have 1 pin to make a lot of adjustments. If I have a Gen Y, for instance, I pull 1 pin out, I flip the ball, whatever orientation I need it to be, slip it back in, 1 pin goes back in. If I look at WaySafe, same thing. I simply unlock the 2 pins, pull it all out as 1 unit, flip the ball over, put it back in, and we're good to go at whatever height I need to be at. If I want to adjust the height on here and I want to adjust the ball, I have to pull 3 pins out individually. Pop these 2 pins out to be able to adjust the height, then pop this pin out to rotate the ball. Again, some of this stuff is super, super picky. But that's the whole point of this. Everybody wants items that have convenience built into them. They want the strength, they want the durability, they want the convenience, all of that. And the more manufacturers can adapt their products to allow for that level of convenience, I think is super important. B&W has one of the most reputable names when it comes to towing equipment in the industry. I am a huge fan of B&W. I've used B&W products for a long, long time. I love my B&W Tow and Stow, but I do not like the fact that they have not kept up with some of the convenience features that other manufacturers are demonstrating with their products. Again, they could keep this part right here the same. I'm totally fine with how the ball assembly is built. I don't even really care about the fact that you have to pop a pin to rotate it. But again, we're talking 3 pins that you have to remove if you want to adjust the height or the ball. And that's just not really something I like to deal with, because I do have multiple trailers, and some of them have 2-inch balls and some of them have 2 5/16" balls. And then finally, I would love to know that the hitch that's in the back of my truck can hang with some of the higher capacity hitches that competing brands have, like Gen Y, like Bulletproof, like WaySafe. So it would be really cool if they can make a version of this that has a 30,000 pound maximum tow capacity with 4,500 pounds or 4,000 pounds or 3,600 pounds worth of maximum tongue weight capacity, as well as a pin system that is one motion to pull the whole thing out. Shoot, it would be kind of cool if they made it so, well, I guess they can't really do that because of how they have the 2 holes right here for the different pins you might need to use. But for a 2-ball assembly, it would be cool if there was a handle that was tied to all 3 pins. You basically pull it out, you make your adjustment, you stick it back in, lock it on the other side, and you are good to go. That would be a great upgrade and one that would be welcomed, and I think a lot of folks would probably gravitate towards B&W if they had some of those upgrades. Anyways, hopefully the folks at B&W are watching this. Hopefully they're considering some of these ideas or design concepts, because it would definitely add some appeal to an already awesome product that I think a lot of people are kind of like sometimes thinking, man, I really wish that it could compete a little bit better against the heavy duty hitches that are out there from its competitors. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment below on the next product you would like me to break down and evaluate and give my recommendations on. Okay, drop it in the comment section. Hopefully you guys will fill it up with some really great ideas. Again, if you haven't had a chance, take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.